Welcome to Mug TCG. This is Mug Tucker, and today I'm here with MOBYUS1. Please introduce yourself.
Hello, everybody. MOBYUS1. I have a YouTube gaming channel that has all sorts of Star Wars, mostly Star Wars content, and a bit of Star Wars Unlimited as well. Probably most recognized for the Do You Know Star Wars Unlimited series, where I challenge creators to test their knowledge of unlimited cards by showing them versions of the cards that I've changed. And yeah, that's me.
And if you want someone to make a video with you, a content creator, I don't know, I kind of know some Mog TCG, so...
Yeah, there's a list, believe it or not, of content creators
I
that I'm
believe
gonna try
that.
to have on.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're on the list. Don't worry.
Oh, okay. This is good. So today we're going to talk about we're creating our tier list of the leaders of the set 4. And I know it's kind of late, but this is good because we already played with a lot of decks in Peternaki and Karabas, so this is good because we have another vision from just like the spoilers and kind of stuff. So here, the first leader, we're going to this order. So the first here is Captain Phasma. What do you think about this leader? This is a tribal leader, right?
Yeah, so definitely need it's one of those leaders, as you just said, as a tribal leader, which means the more cards that exist that fit into that tribe, in this case first order, the more that card has the potential to do well.
Yes.
And yeah, unfortunately I don't really think it's quite there for first order yet.
Yeah, we don't have too many first orders to now, and I think the ones that we have is not that good. That if you're going to play with Captain Phasma, you probably will put every first order. Maybe just not Snoke because it's blue, and maybe you're not playing with blue. But
Yep. Yeah, I was actually looking. The other big issue with her is there are absolutely, at this time anyway, 0 cunning first order cards. And her ability, if you played a first order card, deal 1 damage to a unit and potentially a base, kind of is like Sabine, right? So
yes,
you might say she's the villainy version of Sabine, but you'd probably want to pair her with yellow so you can get some pump with like surprise strike and whatever, and there's no synergy there.
yeah. I think most of the first order is red, but the second one is probably green. So
Yep.
You need to play with both if you want to play Captain Phasma. I don't see you playing with any other aspect aside red and green. And I really think that she's a good leader. Just for 5 deploys of 4/6, which is good. And
Solid. Yep.
yeah, but I don't know. I don't see she's playing too much, and I think this C is wrong here. Let me just fix it. Yeah, and I'll probably put her in C maybe. What do you think? Because I don't think it's that bad to be like D, because I think there's more leaders here that is way worse than her. So I don't know.
So I put her in D.
You put it in D,
but I think she has potential. And she's definitely needs to be. She will need to be reevaluated.
Yeah, for
with
sure.
each set.
Yeah.
Every time a new set comes out, if they add more first order cards, she has the potential to just explode out of nowhere. So for that reason alone, I could see C being it, but at the moment, I don't know. The other thing is you just have to ask yourself, would you want to be playing her over any other aggression villainy leader right now? And I just don't see any reason to.
Yeah. Like I said, I was planning to put in C because the potential. But you're right. If we're talking about set 4 right now at this moment, she's a D for sure.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah. So and we can change here. Like I don't know if you'll do this, but I like to in my tier list have like only 2 entire S because it's like the highest deck, and so just to don't have like 4 or 5 tier S,
Yeah, definitely.
So we can put in A, B, C, and change in the final of the list. So now we have.
So sorry, I didn't want to. I did because when I knew we were going to do this, I made my own little tier list already.
Yeah.
So that I'm referencing. So we'll see if you go ahead and say it first, and I'll tell you where I ended up putting them on my list.
Okay. So now we have Rose Tico, and maybe Rose Tico can be better than Captain Phasma because because like I know it's a tribal deck for vehicles. It's not like tribal, but it is, right?
No, it is.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
but we have so many other vehicles that we can play than first order, right? So
Yep.
just by this, she's better than Captain Phasma because you can play with more cards. But and she's is a 4/6 too. It's solid for 4/6 for a cost 5
Yep.
deploy.
Same cost, same stat line.
Yeah, and we can use her to heal the 1/4 Sentinel, Concord Zone in space and kind of stuff. A lot of vehicles. We have now the I think it's 3/5 AT TP. I don't know, AT something that we have in the ground that is a 3/5 Sentinel too. It's good. It's not that bad. I think it's one of the best leaders for drafts and pre-release because we have a lot
Yep.
of vehicles in the set, so it's really good. But in the premiere, I'm not seeing too much. To be honest, I never played with Rose Tico yet, till now. And I think maybe C here, because I really think they have leaders that is not that good, but is better than her.
Yeah, I think I agree with everything you said, and I actually have played with a Rose deck in Premiere, which did surprisingly well. Used her with Energy Conversion Lab, 100% again. Like you said, she is still tribal, but just the number of vehicle cards is way higher than First Order cards in Phasma. And her ability isn't bad. I mean, being able to heal a vehicle for 2 damage while she's on her leader side, that vehicle need to have attacked. But, I ran her with Energy Conversion Labs, so, playing a card like Blue Leader, you get to ambush, it attacks when it ambushes, then you could heal it back up if it survives. There's some interesting stuff you can do with her. The new card Silver Angel, that the 2/3, you throw her sister Page Tico on that, so every time it attacks, it gets an experience token, but hurts itself. But then you can use Rose's ability to heal it. So there's some fun things to do, but at the end of the day, I agree with your decision, and I also put her in C tier. Well, I think she's better than most people think.
Yeah.
She's still pretty bad.
Yes.
so C tier.
Yeah, you can do some plays like you said about Blue Leader. You can use Blue Leader with the 5 resources to create a 5/5 in the ground, and you can just defeat something and heal everything because you can use Rostik's ability as a leader, then deploy on attack, heal again, so you have a 5/5 clean in the ground. But
yeah, there's some cheeky things you can do, but
yeah,
there's probably better stuff to do.
Yeah, and it was like you said, if you want to play with a blue leader, you want to play with Rose Tico and not the other leaders like Obi-Wan or like Yoda, Rey.
Yeah, there's just better choices.
Yes. So now we have Grand Admiral Thrawn. This one is when got spoiled, I talked with my friends here in my city and I said, okay, this leader should be awesome in the next set, and they all say, oh, okay, we don't even have a lot of one defeated cards till now, but every time they spoil a card, you can wait like 2 or 3 days, they will spoil more cards to play with that leader. And I just say, wait till tomorrow. And they spoil a lot of other cards with one that is awesome with Troll, like with Chimera and kind of stuff. And was my first choice to play in this meta, but I don't know, I'm seeing not that good. Like, look, I really think maybe B or a low A, maybe Troll, because we're talking about the leaders of set 4, not all the leaders. I think from the leaders from the set 4, maybe A or B. Or high B, I think an A maybe, because you can do a lot of stuff with this card. And it's like the other ones. With more sets, we have more when defeated cards, better when defeated cards, and this leader just get better every set. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I agree with everything you said again.
Yeah.
I also put him in A. I think there are... Look, I love Thrawn. I actually really want to get a Thrawn showcase because his ability is just so much fun.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what the theme of a set. See, like Rose synergizes with vehicles, and Jump to Lightspeed was a vehicle-heavy set, so that makes sense. Thrawn's ability, while narrow with the Wind Defeateds, that is a mechanic that is going to exist in every set that comes out.
Yeah.
Right? So I said it already with Phasma, but Thrawn is going to need to be reevaluated time and time again as more win defeated cards come out, because FFG has to be careful now with how they balance any card with win defeated, because some win defeateds, if you get it twice, can just be broken.
Yes. And I'm telling right now that I think Troll will be banned, suspended, and eternal format one day. Like with 15 sets, so kind of stuff, and we will have a lot of win-defeated cards, good win-defeated cards, and then we're seeing a Troll playing with 15 sets. This is insane. I really think he probably will be suspended in eternal format one time.
I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't know. It's tough. I think they did a wise choice and made it so that even when he's on his leader side, you can only benefit from it once per round.
Yeah.
That does limit his power level a little bit, because if you flood the board with win defeateds and your opponent has a way to take them all out in the same round, then the amount of value you're getting out of Thrawn is still somewhat limited. But yeah, he's definitely A tier, definitely a good leader, and is gonna be crazy at some point if he's not already.
Yeah, I think from the 3 leaders that we're talking to now, he's the best for sure. And
no question.
Yeah. Now we have Asajj Ventress, and this is one of the cards too, the leaders too, that I expect that will be better in my opinion. But when the set goes out and we're not seeing too much of her, now I created a list with Tarkin just when it got spoiled, so I need to update that list. But I'm seeing more now with green in the Petronaki. I'm not seeing the Tarkin anymore. And I really think it's a good card with Tarkin because you can like defeat something in turn 1, and I don't think we have too many other decks that can do that. Maybe Quinlan and Cad Bane. Not even Jungle can do this in turn 1, so I don't know, maybe a B here. What do you think?
I also put her in B.
Yeah.
For pretty much all the reasons you said. Now, I have not played an Asajj list, but I have played against a couple of Asajj lists, and she can get off some pretty crazy things. Was it I think it might have been a Banshee, which would be fitting.
Cost 5, right?
Yeah, because you get that, you get grit on that, you get to attack with it and deal a bunch of damage based on its power. Like there's some pretty nasty combos she can do, but again, kind of like with Rose and with Phasma, if you're going to be playing blue-black, like a blue-black leader, there's just so many better choices. Even here, like we both agree, Thrawn is just better.
Yeah.
So while Asajj isn't a terrible leader by any means, she's really good. So she's fun. She's just not as good as Thrawn.
Yeah, I really like her. Like I said, you can use Tarkin on turn 1 because you can play a unit in the same arena than your opponent played. You can use the ping damage, Tarkin sound kind of stuff, and you can control the board since turn 1. And this is fun. This is good, but I don't think it's that good because you need to draw really well and with this Asajj decks that I'm seeing now, because you have that upgrade that gives you is a cost 3, then you give +2/+3 and great for a unit, and sometimes you just don't draw this. If you draw this, you probably will control the space or something like that, but otherwise you just, I don't know, don't look that good. But like we're talking about, it's a grid deck. Maybe we will see more grid units in the next sets that we can play with and kind of stuff, because you put in 1 damage in your unit, but you're giving +1 attack for your unit too, so this is awesome.
Real quick, while we're talking about her, because this is the first leader that has the piloting ability, or technically doesn't have piloting, let me be correct about it, can be deployed as an upgrade. And I see we have a bunch more coming up. How do you feel about that mechanic? Do you think that overall makes a leader stronger, or do you think it has kind of reduced their overall power level, or what do you think?
Yeah, when they spoiled the first, I think they spoiled Boba Fett, Han Solo, and Asajj at the same time, right? What was the 3 first pilots?
You have the order right. It was definitely Han and Boba first because of the spotlight decks, but then Asajj was like shortly after.
Then we're talking, everyone talk, okay, we can use like Confiscate, just defeated those upgrade leaders. So, or Poe Dameron with ECL kind of stuff. I like more leaders that actually do something when got deployed as an upgrade, like Han Solo, like Boba Fett, like Vader, because they already did something. The opponent can use ECL with Poe, can use Confiscate, can use Bamboozle, something like that, to take it out the upgrade. But you already did something, you know. It's not like just if you play like Luke Skywalker as an upgrade, then your opponent confiscate. Okay, you just lose your lead for nothing.
Well, technically, Luke Skywalker would be immune to confiscate, but bamboozle,
this
bamboozle
was
would get him.
the worst example that I can pick here. But yes,
it's all right.
Yeah, and so yeah, I think Boba Fett, Han Solo, and Vader is better by this. Like I said before, you deploy and you actually do something right now. But I really like Asajj because you gives grits to something, and grit sometimes is insane because it's a +4 HP. You can put in a vehicle that you can play like in turn 3 that is a 3/5. You have 9 HP this unit now. You can do a lot of damage there with some cards of your cards. You can do damage with your Asajj. Against directed damage is insane because you can put all of the damage in the unit. So you have a huge unit to attack for a lot. I really like it, but it's like you said, when you deploy as a upgrade, you just lose some stats like attack and HP. Like Asajj is a 4/6, but as an upgrade is a 3/4. Sometimes it's just better to you deploy as a new unit. You have now 2 units. You can avoid maybe a Power Dark Side or something like that, and attack for more. So we need to consider this when you building your deck and against specific matches. Like against control, if you only have one vehicle, you don't want to put a leader as an upgrade there. It's better for you just deploy and have 2 units because you can avoid Spore for Dark Side, something like that.
Yeah, you gain in flexibility but lose in overall power.
Yes. But yeah,
cool.
But we're getting that because I really think 5/5 with Darth Vader is actually insane. But okay.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, let's go now with Boba Fett, and this is one that we're seeing a lot. Actually, I'm seeing a lot in Petronak and Karabast now, cause and like I said, this is a pilot that actually do something. You deploy and you can do splash 4 damage in the units like a barrage. So I really like this. Sometimes I need to, against Boba Fett, I need to control the space because I really know that he wants to just claim into contingency, deploy, and defeat all of my units because I put the indirect damage in my units because yeah, I don't want to do this damage in my base. So he probably will wipe my board with this. So I need to be careful, and to defeat his space, and every single unit that he played till now, like the turn 5 from on, before he can deploy in the ground, I know that he wants to deploy there, so in the space. So I need to deal with this, and this is hard to play against. I think you need to be, you need to be, you need to think what he wants to do. And this is bad for him because like he have like one line to do, and you can just play aside of this right now. Like you know what he was going to do, but if you don't stop him, it's really hard to like if you don't stop his space, it's really hard to deal with it after he deployed. If you don't have a confiscate, if you don't have something to take him out of there.
Yep.
Like I think it's 8/10 with Ruthless Raider, right? It's insane.
Yeah. Yep. It's crazy.
And yeah.
So where would you put him?
Yeah, I think maybe a high A, but I don't thought about the list before. I just like to talk here and see where we're going to put. But I'm not seeing too many other leaders that I will put an S tier. I think I should put a low S or a high A. What do you think?
So, yeah, like you said, he's dominating the meta right now, or if you may, the feta.
Yeah.
It seems like the meta has always had a Fett at the top of it. Boba Fett dominated set 1 and set 2, and then eventually when he was suspended, Daddy Django took over the meta, and it seems like, I feel like this Boba Fett is still going strong. Definitely S or A. I lean more towards S.
Yeah.
right now, just because
Yeah,
of how prevalent he
I
is.
agree. And we're
Um,
seeing a lot of this now in the games online.
and I mean, and for a good reason, because he just pack so much indirect damage into him, into the deck, that your opponent is you're putting difficult decisions in your opponent's face turn after turn
Yeah.
as to how much damage do they feel safe putting onto their base, or how much damage do they feel safe putting onto their units. And then when you play units that you get to direct the damage, like Ruthless Raider that you mentioned, or the P-38 fighter, or if you or Fett's Fire Spray, well, actually, that's still indirect, but you get my point. And then when you flip Boba, and as you said, get to distribute those 4 points of damage like a little mini overwhelming barrage, you can wipe your opponent's board if they decided to load their own units up with all the indirect damage. So,
Yeah.
you're also correct though that the lines are pretty rigid, so there are definitely ways to counter him. Now, I play a lot of heroism, vigilance, control. So if you're if you're a player out there that hates control, I'm sorry, not sorry. And I've actually found it quite easy to counter,
Yeah.
particularly with regional governor,
Makes sense.
because those lines are so rigid. If you have the initiative going into the 6 resource turn and you play regional governor and name Ruthless Raider, that really hurts the Boba player.
Yeah. If you
Um,
play like against like 10 Boba Fett yellow, you probably will see like 9 of them be the same line. Like they playing the same units every turn. It's
yeah,
the same thing, and you can counter this like you said.
yeah. There's not a whole lot of surprises going up against a Boba deck, but it's really good.
Yeah, this don't mean that this
So
is a bad deck, right?
yeah, so I think he still deserves the S tier.
Yeah, and if you're playing with Boba and you can do damage, non-combat damage, like in turn 2, 3, 4, 5 till your deploy, you just did +4 damage with your leader. It's
Yep.
4 damage that your opponent needs to decide where it goes, whether to a unit or to a base, but it's 4 damage. I don't think we have another lead that can do this. We have Luke Skywalker that you can attack every turn with a fighter, but it's not the same because
So
here is the damage in the face, right?
Sabine. So
Yeah, we have
Sabine,
Sabine, yeah,
you
for
could do
sure.
it, but there's 2 major differences. One with Sabine, the more obvious one is you're damaging your own base at the
Yes.
same time. The less obvious but important difference is that Boba's doesn't require an action; it just
Yeah.
happens.
This change everything.
So you're not losing tempo with Boba where you are with Sabine,
Yeah.
which is again really strong.
Sometimes you already took the initiative and your opponent just defeated your 4-2 that when dies deal 3 direct damage and you just, okay, you take 3 direct damage, I will give +1 deal of my Boba Fett leader, so.
Yep.
So now
Yeah,
we
really
have...
good.
Yeah, really, really good. We have here Wedge Antilles. And aside with Boba Fett, because Boba Fett is in direct damage, we have here the pilot mechanics, right? That is the 2 mechanics from Jump to Light Speed. And I thought Wedge Antilles would be better, but it's not that good like I thought it would. Like when the spot comes out and we already have some cards in the Petronaki, Karabas, I'm seeing a lot of Wedge yellow, but now
Mm-hmm.
it's really hard to see Wedge again. We're not seeing a lot of it. I actually would put here in B because I think he's better than Rose and Captain Phasma. You play an upgrade, a pilot costing 1 less is insane because sometimes you can play a cost 2 unit in turn 1 and an upgrade there, which is good. And sometimes you can do like Green Squadron R2 for 0 and another pilot for 0 because cost 1, you know. So, but I don't see being that good in the meta. What do you think?
So I pulled a Wedge showcase.
Yeah.
And because of that, I tried really, really hard to make Wedge work. I've played Wedge in all 4 colors. So I can see why Yellow Wedge is kind of probably the most popular version. Personally, I preferred blue and maybe red more. But again, I'm a control blue nerd, so that I might be biased there. Um, Wedge's ability is strong because it's resource cheating. Uh,
Yeah,
getting to play, getting to play a unit with piloting for one less is good. But the problem is pilots as a mechanic allow, as you kind of mentioned earlier with the power of the dark side, they allow your opponent to 2-for-1 a lot more easily. Um, so you're kind of going all in with his ability, and as soon as your opponent sits down and sees you playing Wedge on the other side of the table, all they have to do is just prevent you from having vehicles on the board, and that kind of just leaves Wedge without an ability.
yeah,
Now he does get a little bit better when he's flipped. It is if you can flip him as a pilot, right? Because he doesn't. Yeah, he's just a vanilla 3/6 as a
yes,
ground unit. Um, his ability does get better because it allows you to play pilot cards for
yeah,
one less. So even if you're playing the pilot as a ground unit, he still gets the discount that way. But
yes.
is that good enough to make him, strong? Not really. I
Eh,
think I also put him right in the middle of B tier because I think resource cheating as a mechanic is always going to be powerful. But in Wedge's case, he's just so specific as to what he can resource cheat that it doesn't quite
yeah.
get him any higher.
And that thing about you said the pilot card is something that I think most of the players don't know this. That you can play a
Yeah.
unit in the ground that is a pilot, right? That it costing
Yep.
less, right?
Yeah. So on his leader side, it specifies you have to play it with the piloting mechanic, the keyword,
Yes.
which means you're only going to be attaching it to a vehicle. But once if you deploy him onto a vehicle, then yeah, then it opens up a little bit, and you can throw
Yeah.
pilot units on the ground.
For me, I think if he was red, he's supposed to be better because you can play with PCL. But
Yep.
the green one makes you okay. If you want to play red, you're going to play probably with the 35 base, 30 base, or the 25 of Tarkin sound. But he looks a lot way better with if he was red with PCL.
Speaking of red and pilots, this is kind of this card I've tried in all of the different heroism pilot decks that I've worked with so far. Probably better in Poe or Luke, but still really good with Wedge. Is the card from set 1, Gorilla Attack Pod. Have you messed with this at all?
Guerrilla attack pods.
Gorilla Attack Pod is the 6 cost. It's aggression, heroism, 4/6. It has grit. It's a ground
Oh
unit.
yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
the grit, and it comes into play ready if a base has 15 or more damage on it.
yeah. People used to
Um,
play with the Sabine set one when the
yes.
game starts, right?
Yeah, it was definitely meta in set 1, and it's since then kind of fallen away, right? Because Wrecker and Poe has kind of taken its place.
Yeah,
But because it's a vehicle and we now have pilots, it's I have been loving that card in kind of the more aggressive heroism decks.
yeah,
Because like you throw Wedge on there, or you throw Luke might not be the best because he doesn't. It's not a fighter, but again, that page Tico, if you're playing blue-red, because when she attacks, she damages it and gives it experience, so the grit
yeah.
doubles the buff. Yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah, actually, this looks insane. I never thought about it.
Oh yeah, and then you can even use they hate that ship to cheat it out earlier.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's some pretty nasty things you can do
yeah.
with Gorilla Attack Pod in this set.
I really like. I hate that shit.
Yeah.
This card is insane. So now we're going to another insane lead that is Darth Vader. Just by a cost 6, he's a 5/6. That is, like, we have 4/7. Most of the cost 6 leaders is 4/7. But this one have +1 attack, but 1 less life. But I think 5 is insane. This 5 is too much. And when you deploy is a 5/5 and something. Maybe a TIE token or something like that. But it's really good because you can use Barrage for a lot. And you can create a swarm of TIE tokens and kind of stuff. This leader, first when I saw it, I said, okay, it's not that good. Then I play with it. I like it a lot. Like I play with yellow, with triple lock raid, invisible hand, and kind of stuff. But now I'm not seeing that is that good. I think the leader is good, but the decks that you play with is not that good yet. What do you think?
Yeah, you got to be careful with Vader. I definitely think he's strong, and he's undoubtedly one of the best leaders that you can pull in sealed or draft.
Yeah, no, Seal in draft he's insane. He's insane.
In Premier, though, like I said, you have to be careful because he's obviously going to be generating a boatload of tokens, which there are a lot of cards in the meta right now that counter that pretty well. Like with all of the Django and Boba decks, most of them running War Juggernaut.
Yes.
That's just like a card that not only is going to be, pushing that deck's game plan, but completely shuts yours down. So unless you have a way to buff your tokens HP with like Victor Leader or something else that gives them extra health, it's very easy to just shut your game plan down completely. And then, as powerful as a +5/+5 is on the flip, if you do flip Vader onto a token or onto a cheap space unit or vehicle at that matter, or that for that matter, the cost of the unit remains the same. So he's still vulnerable to a lot of effects that say like exhaust a unit that costs 2 or less, or a returning unit that costs 3 or less to your hand or opponent's hand, which just just completely nullifies him.
Yeah.
All that being said, when I was trying to figure out what tier to put him in, I couldn't help but go back and forth between A and B, and I think I actually settled on tier A, which maybe I'm over evaluating him.
Yeah, maybe a low A or high B, something like that.
I did low A, but I wouldn't argue against a high B. Somewhere in there is where I feel like he fits. I think while his game plan, as I mentioned, can be easily shut down, there aren't a ton of decks that are running ways of shutting him down. So in certain matchups, he can just steamroll.
Yeah, because most of the decks of Vader decks we're seeing now, Vader is the finalizer. So if you deploy and you take like Confiscate, Bamboozle, you just lose the game. He is the card that is going to finish the game, to close the match. But and not just that, not just like the deck is not bad, but like you said, we have jungle now. We have a lot of ping decks and kind of stuff that you can just defeat all of his units. So the deck is not bad, but he's in a bad position now in this meta, I think.
Yep. Yeah, actually, I think that's.
Yeah, and just
I would agree.
If you don't draw Barrage, your opponent can play Bright Hope, and you will never take in space again. Just like that. You can't defeat this Bright Hope there. If you put a pilot in Bright Hope, oh, forget it. You go to the next match if you don't draw Barrage.
Or if you're up against me and my blue-white control, Concord Dawn Interceptors.
Yeah.
also shuts it down pretty quick.
Yeah, for sure. So this is it. I think maybe a higher B. So.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah. So now Kazuda. This one promised a lot. And it's the same thing I said about Troll. Like they spoiled this car, and everyone, oh, this is so bad. Why I want you taking out my abilities of my units? And I said, just wait. We were going to see like 2 or 3 units that we spoiled in the next day, and they did this. We have the 4/4 ambush for cost 3. We have the fireball. There's a cost 2 3/3 ambush in space, which is insane with Kazuda, right? And we're seeing a lot of decks like. Most of them is yellow and red, right? I prefer yellow because I really like double cunning with cunning itself. But the red one is a good one too. It can be really aggressive. We have a hated ship and some lists, and I like the card. What do you think?
Yeah, I've definitely seen him run more double yellow because cunning on its own is just such a powerful card to be able to exhaust your opponent's units. Send one back to hand or discard a card and buff one of your own units at the same time. Stolen AT Hauler was one of those cards that when they spoiled that, I was like, who would run this? Because I'd have to go back and check, but I'm fairly confident that they spoiled the Stolen AT Hauler before they spoiled Kazuda.
Yeah, I think so.
So it was like, wait, why? Like, yeah, a 4/5 for 3 is really good rate, but like, man, then you're playing this weird mini game with your opponent for the rest of the game as to like who's going to be in control of it. But then they showed Kazuda, and I was like, oh, yeah, that's broken. Um, yeah, he's got so many good things like Cartel Turncoat, the 1 cost 2/3 with the bounty, uh, set 1 Millennium Falcon. As you said, Fireball, which makes sense because if you're unfamiliar with Star Wars Resistance, Fireball is the ship that Kazuda flies, which is why that synergy exists. Yeah, no, he's good. I don't typically play Cunning, so I have yet to actually play him, but I have seen him quite a bit. I know how much damage he can push, with like the Han Solo Legendary, that lets you attack as soon as you attach him to a vehicle. And there's a lot of good cutting heroism ground units too, so it's not all space. You know, you've got Plo Koon. You can still run DJ, while not as effective as with the set 1 Han Solo for the resource cheating, but you could still do it. For all those reasons, I stuck him in a solid A tier. I don't think he's quite S yet, but I think he's got the potential to be.
Yeah, I agree 100%. When they spelled like Stolen and the Fireball and all of the cards that we can play with Kazuda, everyone thought, okay, this probably should be the best leader of the new set. But a lot of tests and gameplays against and playing with Kazuda, I can say that is a high tier, like a high tier is not a S. Cause I don't know, I kind of struggle playing with it because you want to create a big unit with Stolen and Kazuda there, so sometimes I think it's better in this meta to have more units than just 1 or 2 big, because for your opponent it's way easier to do something against sometimes. Against aggro decks is good because they can't deal with a huge unit, but against control decks is more easier, you know. You can use like if you have a Stolen and you deploy Kazuda, okay, Poe side, I can defeat this. You know, what are you going to do now?
Yeah, and because pilots are such a new, fresh mechanic, they're from the latest set. People know that a lot of players are going to be running them, and because 2-for-1 removal is so effective against them, we're seeing a lot of that. So Power of the Dark Side, I don't know about Vanquish, but Blue Black is definitely running No Glory, No Result, or only results. I've even seen, what's the Merciless Contest is still being run a lot.
Yeah. And
so
not just control decks, like a Sabine can run now Fang Fighter if he thinks in his local meta will play with a lot of pilots. So Zebo Fang Fighter is a good card too.
Yeah, so like we mentioned before, the whole piloting as a whole is just it's high risk, high reward. If your opponent doesn't have the upgrade removal, you can pretty much seal a lot of games that way. But if they have it, you're gonna struggle the rest of the game.
Yeah, and like we said, you don't want to deploy Kazuda in the ground because it's a 2/5. Just like he's not a Sabine that is. I know he's a 2/5, but it can be 3 because having the on attack. But you really want to deploy as a pilot because +3/+3 in turn 3 is really good, and we have the Major Vonreg that did the same. But like we said, I don't think it's S tier anymore. Maybe in the first gameplays with it and Petronike before all the release of the set. But now I'm not seeing it as a S. I agree with you. It's a high A tier.
Cool.
So now another tribal leader that is Admiral Holdo, and this for me is worse than Phasma.
Did I put okay, yeah, they're both D tier for sure.
Yeah, because we have just a few resistance cards. I think we have maybe a slightly more than First Order. Yeah,
I think so.
With this set 4, right? Because I think we have more First Order in the other sets, but I think with this set 4 we have more resistance cards. But
just doing a quick search on SW or SWDB to confirm. So
that I'm not for sure, but yeah.
There's 25 resistance and 19 First Order. So there you go.
So is it 3/8? It's like I think the first Troll set 1 is 3/9, right?
Sorry, say that again.
The troll from set 1. He's a 3-9, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, so she's a 3-8. It's not that good. I think if she was like 4-7 can be better. But you have an ability like the I don't remember what's Tumble, right? That give +2/+2 if a unit
Yep.
got defeated. She's kind of similar because give +2/+2, but interact with resistance cards. But we don't have yet a good tribal resistance card, and to be honest, I never saw any deck with resistance tribal yet till now. I never saw anyone talking about it, playing with it in Petronaki. I didn't see it in the Discord or something like that because I think people know that this leader is not that good and we're not playing it now. But it's like we said, we need to see in the next set because maybe we can see a bunch of new resistance card that is insane that we can play with her. So what do
Yeah,
you
I'm just
think?
scrolling through the resistance. I mean, she's definitely D tier.
Yeah,
No questions
definitely,
asked
yeah.
about that. But yeah, it's the same thing as Phasma. As more resistance cards come out, she'll have to be reevaluated because it is a strong ability.
Yeah.
I have played against a Holdo, maybe one, maybe two at the most. I play a lot of Petronaki.
Yeah.
So every once in a while I will be surprised with a deck, but I'm just looking through the list of resistance cards right now, and I'm not even sure what color I would want to run her in. Yeah, it would have to be red
Yes.
for because you get black 1,
Poe.
BB-8, and the tactical heavy bomber looks pretty good. But most of the and you get Poe. Yep.
Yeah. Probably the best
Yeah, I don't
resistance
know.
card till now is Poe Dameron, and it is red. And Hold have the for me, in my opinion, have the same problem as Wedge. She is green, so you can't play
Yeah.
with ECL, and you don't want to play Poe without ECL. I know sometimes you can just play there. Poe just without ECL looks a lot like a Sentinel, because your opponent
Mm.
needs to deal with this right
Yeah,
now.
he has pseudo sentinel.
Yeah,
Is
but
what that is.
But if you have the ECL to maybe use it with Poe if you want, it's better, right? But if you playing with Holdo and you want to play with Poe, you need to play with red, and a base red, so you don't play with ECL.
Yeah, for sure. I just think we're gonna have to reevaluate her. For this set, it's D. But as
Yes.
more resistance cards come out, that is a scary ability. Being able to buff a unit by +2/+2 on
Yeah.
attack, and even for 1 resource. I mean, yeah, that's. I don't know. It's tough. I don't think she'll ever be above B tier.
Yeah, for sure.
Is that risky to say that, or is that a safe
No,
assumption?
I agree with you.
So yeah,
And for
D for
me,
now.
yeah, for me, she's worse than Captain Phasma.
Yep.
So now we have Major Vonreg. This card, I like it a lot. I know that it's not S tier, I just saying right now, but I really like this card because I posted recently a video with Major Vonreg Red, and it feels like a Kylo Ren Red from like set 2 and set 3. That is just a aggressive deck with like I think it's glass cannon that was saying in English. Glass
Yep.
cannon, yeah.
Glass cannon. Yeah.
Because you can do a lot of damage, but if you don't get there, you lose.
Yep.
If you sometimes you just let your opponent with like 2 HP and you don't have nothing else to do because you have like cost 1-2 units, and your opponent like is over costing your units with 6-7 units, and you just don't have nothing else to do. We have like the Chaos of War that sometimes can close match that you can't, but yeah, and the thing here is like I said with Kazuda. He's a +3/+3 and a turn 3, right? Which is insane.
Yep.
And this is it. But it's like a tribal deck too, because you want to play with vehicles. There's one that I said that is a red, Vonreg red is not just with vehicles, but I think you want to play with a lot of vehicles to trigger the ability, so why you were going to play with if you're not playing with vehicles? And you want to deploy Vonreg as a pilot, because like I said, is that just 2-5 in the ground is not that good. What do you think?
Yeah. I did experiment with Vonreg both in green and yellow. I didn't try the double red, although that does sound interesting. I was
Yeah.
trying to do more shenanigans with like lurking TIE Phantom and Seventh Fleet Defender, even stolen AT. Because while it is risky, if you could put Vonreg on the stolen AT hauler, it's
Yeah.
pretty scary.
7-8, right?
Um, yeah. So I think he's good. He's hyper aggressive. Glass cannon is a good way to look at it. Because what you described is exactly the case. You either explode out of the gate with insanely fast damage and win the game by like turn 3 or 4, or your opponent stops you and then there's nothing you can do for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
So for that reason, I put him as a solid B.
B.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, B, B, C. I think B because, like you said, where was Kylo in set 2? Was he? Would you say he was like B or so?
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. I think we
Because
saw a Kylo in the finals of PQ out there.
yeah,
So yeah, like
because they are very similar decks.
yeah. Like I said, this beat list here, I'm not be surprised if we're seeing any of these leaders winning a PQ. I know
For sure, yeah.
we're not seeing a lot, maybe one or two, but we can see.
They'll at least place because for no other reason that if a leader is perceived as being B tier, that means they're good enough to perform, but not good enough that some players would prep against them.
Yeah.
Because you're not expecting to see them. And that element of surprise, I'm not really a competitive reviewer or anything like that, but I think there is an element to it that yeah, you could show up with a B tier leader and do fairly well because people just they don't know how to handle that.
Yes. Yeah, but yeah, B tier we can see there, but I don't see a Holdo winning a PQ, you know. If this happened, I would be so surprised by that.
Somebody do it.
Yeah, please.
I mean, hey, with their new rule, right? If you place it at a regional or a sector, a top 64 with Holdo, you get a showcase.
Oh, I have this now, right? Yeah.
I think it's top 64. I could be wrong. Somebody in your comments can correct me. But yeah, the highest placing player with each leader gets a showcase of that leader. So there's a little incentive to play with off meta leaders there.
Imagine you get to day 2, you're getting like top like I don't know 50, and with Holdo, and you think, okay, I would want a showcase of Holdo. So somebody else made like top 19, and you just don't know it, and you just don't get a showcase with Holdo because someone else is better.
But then at the end of the day, you go on TCG Player and you just buy the showcase for $40 anyway, and you feel all right.
Yes. Yes. So yeah, I agreed here with this B. So now we have Poe Dameron, and like most of these leaders that we had talked before, like I don't know, but I'm seeing a pattern here that we're talking about a lot of leaders that I think supposed to be better when I saw for the first time, then it's not that better. What you feel the same way? I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's, if you look at where all the pilot leaders, well, with Boba's the exception, but if you look at the B tier, it's all pilot leaders.
Yeah.
And that's because, for one reason or another, because it's so easy to stop pilot leaders from doing what they're trying to do. Yeah. So the high risk, high reward is not what you're looking for at the top end of a competitive deck. What you're looking for is consistency. And I know we're not talking about Boba anymore, but that's part of the reason why Boba is S tier. Is we talked about how Boba, all the lines are super predictable, but that means the deck is consistent, and that's what you want in a competitive level deck.
Exactly. And Poe, like I said, everyone when Poe got spotted, everyone's talking, okay, this leader should be insane because you can move through the units, but I don't know. I'm not seeing that being that good now that I've played with, that I played against it. I'm not seeing too much anymore. I'm seeing more Luke than Poe ECL and the Petronaki. And the good thing about Poe that I like a lot is that you can like play as a pilot, paying one, then do your stuff. Then, if your unit got defeated in the turn of deploy, you still can deploy as a ground unit. This is good. But this is predictable too. So sometimes I'm playing against a player and against a Poe, and I can defeat his unit with Poe as an upgrade, but I just don't do because I know that he can deploy as a ground unit.
Yep,
So
the
just,
two
okay,
extra damage from
yeah,
him being an upgrade isn't as scary as him deploying.
yeah. So you just, I don't know. Sometimes it's better to just have like a 4/6 in the ground, and you can't because you have a +2/+1 in space now. And
Especially
so
because that 4/6 will come into play ready.
yes, but yeah, sometimes like I said, I just hit bait. Okay, I don't even need to deal with this. I don't know, 5/5 unit here with Poe because I don't want to see a 4/6 in the ground right now. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think he's probably a B too. I don't see he aside with Rose Tico. What do you think?
So I went back and forth on him between A and B. I
Yeah,
did play with him in a couple different colors, green, mostly green and blue,
yeah,
because I was definitely trying ECL and again, blue heroism is my color choice. So what's cool about him? Everything you said is correct. You know, the extra 2 power is not a tremendous buff, but he's so dang flexible. And the fact that
yes,
if you go into a turn with him or with 2 vehicles, you know, you can kind of do the Anakin Skywalker
yeah,
let's try spinning or whatever, where you attack with the one vehicle that he's on, then you can pay the one to bounce him over to your other readied vehicle and attack again. Uh yeah, I listed him when I made my list. I put him in A, but I would not fight putting him in B at all. I totally see that. I
yeah.
think he can explode, kind of like Vonreg. He can pop off and do some really cool stuff, but he is still pretty easy to counter.
Yeah, and like you said, he's a flexible because, like Vonreg, you really don't want to deploy him as a ground unit because he's just a 2/5. But just for
Yep.
one turn later, you can deploy a 4/6, which is way better than 2/5.
I think
So
the reason. Sorry, good.
no, you can talk.
I think the reason you definitely leave him at the top of B, but I think the reason I settled on A is because his deploy, not his deploy. I got to be careful with my terminology.
Yeah.
His action has an unlimited number of uses.
Yes.
So even though he can only deploy to ground once, if your opponent is defeating the vehicles that you're putting him on, you can keep bringing him back, and that kind of boosted him a little bit for me. It might not be good enough, but I think that's why I put him where I did.
No, this makes sense and he looks actually really good in Twin Suns. I don't know if you play Twin Suns. You play?
I play Twin Suns, but I have not played with him yet.
Yeah, he looks actually good because you can play like to the end of the game, right? And
Yeah.
I saw a guy saying in the comments of my Twin Suns video saying that to try to attack with Poe and Fenn because you can use it Poe's action to put as a pilot attack, then defeat the Poe to put a shield. So
Yeah, that's fun.
but yeah, I will put here in the A, low A, because we already have 5 here. So let's just balance in things, and if we go into
Sure.
the other leaders, we can.
Sure, that
We'll
makes
see
sense.
this. Yeah. So now we have Luke Skywalker. This leader, I like it a lot.
Me too.
This with ECL is insane. Have he as a pilot fixed that thing that is really easy to take out as an upgrade. The only card here is Bamboozle, right?
Yep.
And even in the ground is a 5/6, a solid 5/6 like Vader. And +4/+5 is, I know it's not +5 as a Vader in attack, but +4/+5 is really good. Like if you put this in a Bright Hope, like this now is a 6/11, right? Like
Yep.
your opponent can't deal with
Quick math.
this.
No, wait, was it 6? Yeah,
Yeah,
11, sorry.
how is going to defeat a 6/11 Sentinel in space if even if you have like 3 space units. He needs to use surprise strike and kind of stuff. So it's really hard because you can't take Luke by confiscate, by Fang Fighter, by ECL with Poe, something like that. So it's really good, and the triggers putting 1 damage in a lot of units every turn is really good too, because you just can just finish sometimes. If your opponent use ECL to defeat your unit, he now have like a 3-1 unit maybe in you. Okay, we'll just attack with another unit, then ping 1 damage or something like that. So it's really, really good. And what do you think?
I love Luke. So Luke, I actually like Luke better than Poe.
Yeah.
I also put Luke in the A tier.
Yeah.
Dude, there's just so much cool stuff you can do with Poe. I really liked Bo-Katan in set 2. She never really the Mandalorian synergy wasn't as strong as I think the fighter synergy can be.
Yeah.
Because there have been fighters, like fighters is a dominant trait. There's been fighters in every set. There will continue to be fighters.
Yes.
And yeah, his stat line overall is solid. A 5/6 on ground, as you pointed out. A 5/6 force on ground, by the way.
Yes.
So not that you would ever really run like a huge force package in a Luke deck, because that's not really what you're trying to benefit from. Like, he's not going to make the vehicle a force unit if you play him as a pilot, which is really what you want to do, because his on attack is so good. I love putting him on red 5, which is fitting because the his on attack deals 3, then red 5 lets you do 2 more damage to a damaged unit, so you're dealing 5 damage to something on attack, which is nuts. As you said, the upgrade himself is immune to upgrade removal. However, the big downside is that he's still his unit is still susceptible to 2-for-1 power of the dark side or stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now it is a leader unit, which helps. But there's still cards that can deal with that, like Rival's Fall or Power of the Dark Side. So he's not invincible. If you wanted to make him invincible, you could do crazy stuff like put him on Millennium Falcon with Chewbacca.
Yes.
Yeah, which is cool. You won't get his on attack because it's not a fighter. But now you have a unit that your opponent really doesn't know what to do with.
A huge unit.
So yeah, so there's some fun stuff with him. I love the ping.
Now that you mentioned about the Force trait, I want to see you playing with Luke Blue with the Forces with me.
Yeah, there's some cool stuff. So I didn't say that. I did run him with ECL, so I played Luke Green a lot, but I'm gonna sound like a broken record talking about blue heroism. My new favorite build of Luke is what I call Bluke Skywalker.
Luke. Makes sense.
I'm also a fan of bad jokes. But running him with, like, again, Concord Dawn Interceptors is a fighter. Obi-Wan's Aether Sprite. Putting him on Obi-Wan's Aether Sprite is so fun.
Yeah.
Because it's a fighter that can ping other space units. So, or even putting him on the Guerrilla Attack Pod that we talked about earlier.
Yes.
You now have a 8/11 with Grit, which can come into play ready. That can just win games.
Yes, for sure.
So yeah, Luke is a lot of fun. Really good. I like him.
Yeah. You think he's better than Kazuda?
I do, because I prefer the red, green, and red, blue decks more than I prefer cunning decks. But to me, that's a personal choice, personal preference. I could totally understand somebody else thinking Kazuda is better than Luke.
Yeah. And just a quick thing here that I noticed, that he's on attack, you may do 3 damage to a unit and not enemy unit. Because maybe you have Luke and the space. You can play Guerrilla, deal 3 damage in your Guerrilla to make more, right?
I've done that, and it's disgusting and awesome at the same time.
Okay, Guerrilla I think is 4/6 or goes 7, right?
Yep.
Yeah, this is too much damage.
But if you have him on red 5, you attack the base for 7, because red 5 will have 7 power. So you could do 7 damage to base, use the on attack and the red 5's on attack, and deal 5 to Guerrilla Attack Pod, which leaves it a 9/1.
Okay.
Yep. So if you do trench run on Luke on red 5, like, it's disgusting. You can do like a 20+ damage combo
who just
over
one
2
turn.
turns.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, but still, really good.
Okay, so now we have Lando. You're not seeing it in my camera because you're not seeing my camera, but I'm showing the Lando showcase. This is the first showcase that I opened in a box.
Nice. For this set or just ever?
Ever was the first one, but I opened a Darth Vader and a Carbonite booster. I just bought
Nice.
one because I'm a Pokemon judge and I work some and some stores here in my city. And working as a Pokemon judge, I got credit to spend and the store. I don't play Pokemon. I just a Pokemon judge, so I'll take this Carbonite edition. And I picked just one and got this Vader showcase. This is insane.
It's awesome, yeah.
So now Lando, I played with Lando recently, and he looks a lot like a Luke from set 1. I don't know if you already played with it.
The deck does for sure. Ability is very different, but yeah, being able to put shield on units and has a kind of late flip. Yep.
Yeah, actually, if you think that you can do this most of the times, it's slightly better than Luke because you can put a shield in a different unit that you're playing now.
Yep.
But you have this condition that you need to have a space unit and a ground unit, and sometimes you don't have. But yeah, you can play with how can I say this? Not in the curve of the as the opponent is playing with. Like he's playing like a cost 3 unit, you're going to play a cost 2, but put a shield in something else. So you can create like a 2/1 sentinels that cost 1 in the ground with shield, which is good because it's like can work like a village protectors, I think, right? That is a cost 3 2/2 shield.
Yep.
And you can do this.
Yeah, and then you just stack shields on them.
Yeah, and you can do this for till the end of the game, and it's really cool. But he's too late. His deploy, right? It's a cost 7 deploy, and it is a +5/+5 like Vader. So maybe he could be better with the stats. But it's a Sentinel, right? Which is really good.
Yeah, which is a type of, leaders, you really want your leader or anything that comes into play so late to do something immediately.
Yeah.
And Sentinel, it's not the best immediate impact because it's very defensive,
Yes.
but it does still immediately impact the board, so you can't ignore it.
Yeah, I think if he was like 6 deploy, should be better. But 7's too late game, and you probably will not use his ability like for a lot of turns. Maybe to his deploy, he can use like 2 or 3 times, maybe less sometimes, depending on what deck you're playing against. So why are you going to play with? Like, this is the reason, this is the thing that the question that you need to do every time you're going to play with something. Why you want to play with Lando? If you want to play with Lando because you like the character, go ahead and play with it. We need to remember that this is just a game. You need to have fun playing with. But if you need to play competitive, I like a lot to play competitive. I have a lot of fun playing, but sometimes you need to put like a little bit of this fun aside to play competitive, and sometimes you can't play with cards that you really want to play in competitive because it's not that good there. And Lando, I think, is one of this situation. Like, if you like the character, go ahead, play with it. It's cool. Looks like a Luke, but I'm not seeing him like in B. I think he's more C to D,
Yeah, I had checking again just to make sure I'm right. I actually put him low B, but I think high C makes more sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did get surprised back in set 3. I went to a showdown and somebody performed really well with a green with a Luke ECL deck.
Yeah.
And I think I think Lando, as you said, might fit into that sort of range. But I think the biggest drawback is just his deploy cost.
Yeah.
If he was a 6 deploy and maybe had less power, I wouldn't change his HP. Like, leave him 7 on the ground and 5 in the
5-6.
vehicle. Yeah, the
Yeah,
5-5.
yeah.
Maybe make him deploy on 6 and give the vehicle +3/+5 or
Yeah.
something like that. You know, a little bit weaker. I think he would be a lot stronger. The ability is surprisingly good. The fact that he doesn't check to see if you have both a unit in ground and space until after the unit you're playing with his ability comes into play means that you really only need to have one unit in play and still be able to use his ability, which is not hard to do.
Yeah.
And as you said, with comparing his ability to Luke, you can continually give shield tokens to the same unit turn after turn.
Yes.
So play Village Protectors, the 3-cost 2/2 shielded. If your opponent pops the shield and they're, hoping to kill it on the next round, too bad. Next round, you play a space unit, put the shield token back on the Village Protectors, and they just can never get through unless they, take it out in one round. So there's cool stuff you could do with him. The +5/+5 upgrade to space like Vader is scary, terrifying, scary. Until your opponent plays Confiscate.
Yeah.
And there goes your 7-cost leader upgrade to a 1-cost event. So yeah, if he, I think the other thing he would need is some sort of like the same immunity to upgrade removal that Luke has would make him so much better. He's just not worth running right now.
Yeah, and I think the main difference for sure about what Luke is, like we said, like Luke, you always put the shield on the unit that you play this turn. You can put it with Lando and other units, but the problem for me is that you need to his action is you pay one, then you play the unit, and if you have the space and ground, you put a shield. So you can't use that 1-3. I think it's 1-2 actually. Rebel that we use in the Luke. That you can exhaust and play.
The Alliance Dispatcher.
Yes, you can't play with this because Luke let you put a shield and a unit that you play the turn, but you're not playing with Luke.
Yep.
With the Luke's ability,
and you're not paying. You're still paying the cost, the normal cost of that unit. Yeah.
So this is not like if we're playing with Alliance here and the ability works like Luke, should be better. I think the good thing here is that the action, right? Because you can you just do one last action by playing and putting the shield, not like Luke. Did you need to play then put a shield? But yeah, is that I think is a high C. But
I think the other reason Luke is better is also his traits. So Lando being Rebel official pilot are, while not totally irrelevant, they're not as relevant as Luke being Rebel Force. He's not Jedi actually. He's just Rebel and Force. But yeah.
Yeah. But I really think that maybe we can see Lando win in a PQ. Or at least in the top 8.
Top 8 for sure. I would be really, really impressed and really interested in the deck list if Lando tops a PQ.
Yeah. But like I can see, I think, at least one, maybe one finalist, but I'm not seeing Rosico.
No, definitely not.
So now we have Admiral Trench. To be honest, I never played with it, so I really don't know nothing. I never played against. I think I maybe just one match.
I played against it. I didn't play as him, but I have played against it.
And what do you think?
I think I barely won. To be honest, I don't remember what I was playing at the time, but they what were they using? They definitely were using restock to get cards back into from their discard pile back into the deck.
Yeah.
And I think I was playing a control deck. Big surprise. Yeah. And they just outvalued me over the course of the game because they never ran out of cards.
Oh, okay. So if you're playing in the local meta of Mobius, play with Admiral Trench because it's his counter, okay?
Good thing I'm not looking to play in the Galactic Championship, but
So yeah, we have the infinite deploy, right, with Trench, because we can pay for deploy and kind of stuff.
Which feels really bad to do that too, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah. At first sight, looks okay. I have infinite deploy, but when you think about it, it's not that good.
Because I don't even have him up. What are his stats as a ground unit? Is it they're
Uh,
not that great?
he's a 4-5 4-6 deploy.
Well, right, but you're paying 3.
Yeah, you're paying 3, but you need to have at least 6
So
resources to do this.
yeah. But would you, I mean, do you really want a vanilla? Well, it's not even vanilla. Do you want a 4/5? Okay, so let's just real quick talk about his when deployed, right?
Yeah,
Reveal the top 4 cards of your deck. Opponent discards 2 of them. Then you draw one of the remaining cards and discard the other.
yeah,
So what that reads is, what that boils down to is, when deployed, show your opponent 4 cards off the top of your deck and let them discard the 2 best ones.
yeah.
And then you get to choose the 3rd best.
And
Uh,
yeah, you like your opponent always would choose the worst option for you for sure. So
exactly, yeah. So is a 3-cost 4/5 draw a mediocre card? And when defeated, return to your hand in a way. I know technically it doesn't, but in a way, you're getting that back. Is that good?
yeah, I don't think so.
No. I put him in C.
Like if you maybe can deploy by paying 3 in a turn 2, maybe can works, but you need to wait to the 6 resources to start to doing this, and with 6 resources you will pay 3 for deploy a leader, so I don't know, feels weird, don't feels good, and yeah. But
Yeah, I put him low C tier. I think I mean, what are his traits? He's separatist and probably official.
official,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's it. I mean, there's some synergy with what the new Invincible that gets discounted if you control a separatist card
Yeah.
and your leader counts as that. So but even then you have better separatist leaders to be playing, like well, I was going to say Count Dooku, but technically we're not looking at leaders from other sets in this tier list. But you have Asajj. Wait, is Asajj still separatist?
She
I gotta be careful what I
is
say
a
here.
Force Knight bounty hunter pilot.
No. Okay. Well, I guess you don't have any other separatist leaders
Yeah.
in this set.
Yeah, I don't think so.
No, he's still low C, high D for me.
Yeah, I think Heidi, because we're at looking to the other leaders, I think we should put this in D.
Yeah.
So now we have Rio Durant. And like Trench, I never played with it. I think I just played a couple games against. But I don't know, maybe if he was a 3/3 like Vonreg and a cost 4, he could be better. But he's not bad. The Saboteur is really good actually, because even in the ground sometimes you can just 3/5 is not that bad, like 2/5 is not that good, like because we have like 4/6 like Rose Tico and the other cost 5 units like Phasma. But 3/5 with Saboteur is, I think it's okay, it's decent. And the 3/5 as a upgrade with Saboteur is good too. And it can be a 4, right? 4/5 because it gives +1 if it's a transport. Yep. So yeah, like I said, Vonreg you want to deploy as a pilot, but if you don't, if you deploy as a ground, is really bad. It's 2/5. Rio Durant, if you can't deploy as a pilot, it's okay to deploy as a ground unit. Okay, just okay. But what do you think? I never played before, so.
So I've played with Rio in a pre-release.
Yeah.
I felt really bad, but I didn't really pull anything else that was good. I have not played with him yet in Premiere, and honestly, because I'm not a huge cunning player, I probably never will play with Rio in Premiere.
Makes sense.
But the 3/5 Saboteur for 5 on the ground, I do not feel good about that at all. But the +4/+5 Saboteur on 5, I mean, Luke also is +4/+5 with on his attached vehicle, and he comes out a turn later. So the stats are good. They're really good if it's a transport. And I'm just pulling up a list of transports. Like, there's some pretty nice transports to be running in the game too. We've got uh now I'm struggling to find a good one. No, the stolen AT hauler is good. Fett's fire spray is a transport. The new Razor Crest isn't bad. Techno Union transport 5 cost 4/6 shielded. Would you want to run that in a Rio deck? Maybe. Because he would make it. He would make that what, an 8/11 shielded Saboteur?
Yeah.
It's not bad.
It's stolen 2 is like 8/10, right? With the +1, so
yeah.
A Saboteur is insane, actually.
Yeah.
But I think it's the same problem as Kazuda, Vonreg, and this pilots, because you will create a big unit.
Too easy to remove.
Yeah. This is the problem.
Yep. Yeah. So I don't know. I had him at the bottom of my B tier, but I'm changing that to C.
Makes sense. See here, you think he's worse than Lando or better than Lando?
It's hard to tell because they're so different.
Yes.
Probably worse. I don't know. Someone's gonna yell at me in the comments for that.
I really don't know, because I think that maybe he is better because he's an aggro deck, so it's more easy to make him work. Like I don't know, we can see more Rio Durant and PQs and big tournaments than Lando because he's just an aggro deck. You can just sometimes you don't aggro deck. Sometimes you don't even need the right leader. Just like the surprise strike cards, the aggro units, you can just win the game without using the abilities of your leader. So
I think that's a good point because yellow black is a strong combo on its own, and blue white for Lando has not, I don't think, performed as well as yellow black historically.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think you're right.
So now we're going to Admiral Ackbar, the last 3 leaders here, and Ackbar is one that I have felt like it's kind of weird, because
definitely weird.
You really don't want to give an X-Wing for your opponent, but you really don't want to exhaust your unit to crit for you, right?
Yep.
It's really weird. For me, I would just say here, maybe he's a C or D. Maybe I think D, because I'm not seeing he's playing a lot. You can do like fun decks with double yellow with that Palpatine's.
Yes, I was going to talk about that.
Legendary, right? And because you can create the X, okay, you exhaust your unit, but you can create a X-Wing ready. So this is fun.
Yes, all you need. I actually have that deck. That was one of the first decks that I built to play with online. Yeah, you have the Palpatine in play. As long as you have another, like say you have an X-Wing token from an earlier turn, you pay the 1 or attack with him, and you can exhaust the X-Wing token, but you get a ready X-Wing token, so it's like you didn't really lose anything. And then Palpatine attacks, and you get a Clone Trooper token, which if you didn't have a space unit, you could exhaust the Clone Trooper token to get an X-Wing token.
Yeah.
His stat line is actually pretty decent. A 3/8 for 6.
Yes.
He's chunky, so he's tough to get rid of, and he's in yellow, which means you get a lot of pump. So surprise strike, you can attack with him for 6. You get Plo Koon again, which I think I mentioned earlier when I was talking about Kazuda. So I mean, yellow white, even though I don't play cunning, I recognize it is a very strong color combination right now.
Yes. But
you're right, his ability is just so freaking weird.
Yeah, I think like if you're going to play with, you probably will use his ability like once or 2 times in the match, because in the specific turn that you don't want to, like, you open and play Poe, you claim initiative, then you exhaust the Poe to not hit an attack with the next turn, but you create X-Wing, so I don't know, it's like, I don't know, it feels weird.
I think if your opponent's not going space, it's really good.
Yes.
Because if you can turn 1 like Crafty Smuggler or the L3 from Shadows of the Galaxy, that the 2/2 either 2/2 shielded. That way you have a unit that can stick around to turn 2. Turn 2, you play another 2 drop, and then you can exhaust your turn 1. And now you've got 3 cheap units in play. I think the idea is basically to swarm,
Yes.
but he's not as good at swarming as like Vader.
Yeah, no, not even close, I think.
So yeah, I put him at low C, but I could also see him in D. I want to see somebody make him work. Let me just real quick pull up my deck list, which I have not played in weeks.
Okay.
But I want to see like what other kind of interesting shenanigans I was trying to pull off with him. And did I might have deleted the deck. Oh no, wait, here it is. Stand by. Uh Yeah, no, it's just I mean you run the Han Solo legendary so that you can attack with an X-wing token as a 4/5 ambush. I was running Mandalorian so you could attach him and exhaust units or stuff like that. You got the couple Millennium Falcons and a lot of events. So Hand Disruption, Spark Rebellion. None of this stuff is specific to him.
Yeah.
That's the problem. A lot of these cards you just run in Kazuda and it's better.
Yeah, you just put in amazing yellow white cards because
Right.
we have a lot of them, but you put in a leader that like you're not putting them those cards to play with Ackbar. You put in this cards because this card is good.
Right. There's no reason to play Ackbar over Kazuda
Yeah.
in this set.
Yeah. So yeah, we're going with this higher D. Now we have Piett, and maybe I think is a higher S here. What do you think?
Well,
Is your
what
S?
what kind of decks have I said 4 or 5 times now that I like to play?
Yeah.
Uh, I have over 250 games played with Piett on
Oh
Petronaki right
God.
now. So yeah, Piett is an easy S tier.
Yeah.
And if anybody watching has a Piett showcase, please send me a message on Discord. I'd love to make you an offer.
Well, to be honest, I posted yesterday Piett Blue, but I really think the list that I played is not good.
Oh,
Uh,
I'll send you mine.
Please, because I was talking with, because yesterday at night we have our week list here in my city, and I was talking with my friends. Okay, I said, okay, I hate this Piett Blue that I played. I sent in the intro of the video. I said, okay, this video is probably the video that I will lose the most, because
Didn't hold on, wait. Didn't I wasn't I playing Piett Blue in one of those random games that we bumped into each other on Petronaki?
maybe I think so. But I don't know if I was recording yet, or because sometimes I just play like five
Hmm,
matches to get to know the deck, then play with it. But
right.
I don't know if it was you in the video.
Doesn't matter. I've tried both versions, both red and blue of Piett,
Yeah.
and it's what's interesting is they're both very different decks. So red Piett is people are going to fight me with me if I say this. If I say it's an aggro deck, people are going to be like, "It's not an aggro deck. It's a mid range deck." Um, but it plays more like an aggro deck than Piett Blue. It's all about getting Devastator out, right? And using that 4 indirect that you can choose where it goes, and then hopefully your opponent doesn't deal with it, and you swing for 9. You get the Ruthless Raiders for cheaper, which is amazing.
Yeah.
But I just fell in love with Piett Blue. I have been able to play Annihilator as early as turn 5. Is it 5? Because it's the line is oh god. You play something turn 1, turn 2 resupply, then resupply carrier. Then if your opponent has a space unit, you can Architin's assault cruiser.
Yeah.
Yeah, so turn 5 you have 9
Nine
resources, you
resources.
deploy
Yes.
Piett and play Annihilator. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's actually insane because you just vanish this unit from his deck and the hand maybe. So it's really good. But like I said, I just play with the wrong list, and I know this for sure because they showed me a lot of lists and it's way different. But yeah, I really like to play with the red one, with the because we have Ruthless Raider, we have the Planetary Bombardment, which is awesome because
Yes.
if you
Yep.
don't take out this Ruthless Raider, you're going to take 12 indirect damage, and you this is really bad for you.
Yep.
But I think the blue one is better because it's more control. It's like and I don't think it's that hard to control the game with Piett Blue. But for me, I think that he have the same problem as Boba Fett, but both is tired as with in the same way. That is, it's too linear. You know what Piett wants to do. He wants to ramp,
Yep.
and he probably will play like risk play carrier or the cost 7 Sentinel with 5 resources. If
Yep.
maybe he don't even need to deploy now because he can just play a cost 6 unit maybe with his action, or if he deploy, he probably will play that cost 7 Sentinel 6/6.
Yep. Fleet
And
interdictor.
yeah, more like most of the matches that I'm playing against Piett, I know what he's going to do. So I know, okay, he wants to play Tuber Lace in the next turn. Maybe if I have a Boba Fett shield now, like the Boba Fett, the new Boba Fett unit that is a pilot too.
Yep.
5/4 shield. I think I posted recently a match that again that I win against Piett like this because it's a 5/4 with shield, which is good. But and defeating Piett in the right turn is really really good too because with 7 resources you know that in the next turn he can play Devastator. So you need to defeat him now.
Yep.
Otherwise he will play Devastator in the next turn. And sometimes just defeating here Piett now is good because the next turn he can't play Devastator, and the next one he to use the action, but you gain 1 turn to maybe play a shield unit or something like that. It's like
Yep.
it's too
For
linear.
sure.
You know what he wants to do, but if he do what he wants to do, you don't have nothing to do. So this is
Which is
because
the same, as you said, it's the same thing with Boba Fett. It's
yes,
consistency, and
yeah,
consistency seems to be what's dominating the meta in the game right now.
yeah, yeah,
It's consistency and it's resource cheating, which we talked about
yes,
with Wedge.
wedge, yeah.
So,
Yeah, no,
yep.
paying 2 less is is dumb. It's really strong. This is really strong. Your list use Corona, cause I don't like that list that I play with Corona.
I've dropped that.
Yeah,
So that was in there to counter some early space aggression decks, but I found myself resourcing it way more often than I was playing it. So
yeah.
yeah, it's no longer in the list.
And in this meta with Tarkin town, the opponent can just defeat really easy. So I don't want to give you a ramp, you know.
Yeah, no, I've gone through. I mean, I don't want to turn this into a deck tech video, but I've gone through a lot of changes with my Piett Blue. I think I'm probably on like the 6th or 7th version of the deck,
Makes sense.
but it's really fun.
Yeah, yeah.
I think one of the cards that I'm running that I don't see a lot of other people running is Dogfight. Are you
Dogfight.
familiar with that one?
Yeah, attack with the space unit, even if exhausted, right?
Well, it doesn't have to be space unit. Yeah, it's just 1 cost attack with a unit, even if it's exhausted and you can't attack bases. But
Oh, it's not even vehicle. Can be any.
nope, any unit. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Any unit, any arena. And that pairs really well with both the Architon's assault carrier or cruiser. I think it's
Oh,
cruiser.
makes sense.
So you play that, you ambush into a space unit, get a free resource, and then if they have another space unit, it has 8 health, so it probably survived. You could play Dogfight and steal a second resource in 1 turn or 1 round, which is insane. It also combos really well with Devastator. You play Devastator, deal 10 damage to something or however many resources you have, and then you play it's exhausted. If they have a space unit, you play Dogfight, you take out their space unit and overwhelm onto their base.
Yeah, and probably
So there's
this give you one last turn to win, cause Devastator is like one of the finish of the deck, right?
yep,
And okay, with a 30 HP, you can like attack 3 times in the next. So you have to play Devastator now, and you can win the in 3 turns. Now maybe it's
yep,
2, right? Because
yeah.
maybe you defeat something and he's playing with the 25 base. Now is the damage that to win the next 2 turns and not 3 anymore.
That's another good point. Just while we're talking about him, people see me running him and ask me why I'm not playing with the Colossus base, the new 35 HP base. And you kind of nailed it earlier, which is he really wants to ramp.
Yeah.
Well, you're talking about his game plan, and I find that the having 1 less card in your opening hand can really like it really hurts your chances of getting that ramp.
Yeah.
And when you don't get the ramp, it feels really bad.
And should be really bad to play against Quinlan now with Ahsoka, Spark of Rebellion, Force Throw things, and you're playing with one less card since the turn
Yeah.
one. I don't know. But yeah, but now the
Yep.
question, I know that you're playing with Control, but what do you think? Boba or Piett is higher?
I put Boba higher,
Yeah,
even though I would much rather play Piett myself. I recognize that Boba is performing far better than
yeah.
Piett is right now. So that's yeah, that's an easy choice.
And for me, I think Boba Fett do what he wants to do more often than Piett.
Yeah. Yeah, when you miss the cards you're looking for as Boba, it doesn't hurt nearly as bad as when you miss the ramp with Piett.
Yeah, if you like go to turn four, that the turn of the deploys, most of the deploys of the decks, and you don't even need ramp one yet. Once, it's not good. You probably will in a bad position.
Yeah.
So now we have our last leader. So we have here Han Solo. I really like this leader because it feels. I don't know if you play. You said you don't like too much cunning, right? But
Correct, yeah.
I don't know if you play with Boba Yellow just like maybe a few matches. But
You talk about the
yeah,
old
the
like
old
set
Boba
one
Yellow.
Boba.
Yeah.
I did. I was back in when set one was the only set, I did run ECL Boba.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, it feels like it like this because in the turn of the deploy you can play like with 8 resources. I know that you can't play a cost 8, but feels like this. And but it's just in the turn of the deploy, so it's balanced. But yeah, I actually like this list. I play with I think with the Torx deck that with red I think, and it's actually really cool with the hate the cheap. You can do the combo with the new home one, and it's actually really cool deck. And but I'm not seeing a lot, and I think if you want to play with Han Solo you should just play with the old Han Solo. Yellow.
Yeah, even in this set, it's the same issue with Ackbar. He's definitely better than Ackbar, but if you're gonna be playing cunning heroism, like you should probably be playing Kazuda.
Yeah.
Um, I put him as a high C, but I could easily see him in B tier. I have not played with him yet. I want to try him. He is actually one of the cunning heroism cards that I do want to try because I find the deck building restriction of using odd cost cards pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I want to see what that still gets you access to and what that removes from the table. What I do also really like about his leader, his leader side ability is that if you have multiple units that you can attack with, you get to reveal the card and see what it is before you choose what unit you're attacking with.
Yeah.
So if you have like a 1 cost, a 3 cost, and a 5 cost unit in play, you can flip the card and oh, it costs 3, so now you can decide do you want to attack with the 1 cost or the 5 cost and still get the buff.
Yes.
So that was well designed. Um and yeah, getting the resources back on the flip is quite powerful as well. But yeah, I haven't tried him yet. I have not seen a lot of people playing him yet. I think it's simply because there are better options in that color pairing. That's really all it boils down to.
Yeah, it makes sense. And I like the interaction with the C3PO. I know C3PO is not odd
Yes.
cost, but is a
Yes.
guaranteed draw, right?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. But I agree with you 100%. I don't know if maybe I think he's better than Major Vonreg. What do you
Yeah, it
think?
could be.
Yeah, I think we can
They're definitely
trade
close.
here. Yeah, yes. I think we
Yeah.
can. Yeah, I
I
don't
think the
see.
lines between tiers get kind of blurry. Like Vader could be low B tier,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
Han, whatever. Rose could be D.
yeah.
Who
I
knows?
agree here, but I think we did a great title list here. I think is we maybe we can like we said we can change some leaders here, but I think I don't know. I think it's this, like I know maybe Poe we can go to B, but maybe we can see a Han Solo going to high B or almost A there, but we need to see more of the meta. We need to play more because we still in the like not even the first month over now, right? We still
Yeah, no,
in
it's
the
still
yeah.
super early.
So
Um,
we can see like a lot of decks showing with a lot of lists that we're not expecting to in big tournaments. And we need to say one thing here that is these leaders here is the base set from the rotation, right? Because
yep,
we're going to see the rotation of set 1, 2, 3, and this would be the first leaders that from the base. Because
yep.
we will still have the 5, 6, and 7 when the rotation goes out, but yeah, so we can see
Yeah,
this
this is
changing a lot in the next.
these are like the foundation
Yeah,
of the next rotation.
exactly. So maybe this can change. A, maybe not. I think I would say for sure this can change a lot with the rotation.
Here's another way to look at it. The when the rotation happens, as you said, we'll have sets 5, 6, and 7, which means the number of leaders that we have to choose from now is going to be the smallest pool of leaders that we will ever have to choose from again going forward.
Yeah.
4 sets.
Yes.
Right? So even when the rotation happens and the 3 earliest sets rotate out, we'll still have 4 sets in standard rotation. So that's a lot. Like I remember when set 2 came out and everyone's like, "Whoa, we have twice as many leaders to choose from now."
Yeah.
This is it. There will never be fewer choices than we have now, which is nuts.
Yeah. So this is it, guys. What do you guys think about this style list? Say it here in the comment, please. If you think we're wrong, if we're saying something that is you don't agree, please say here in the comment. And what do you guys like change here? Will change here in the style list. I think maybe we can see people saying Luke Skywalker can be a tier S and not Piett, because like I said before, you can play with a wrong list with Piett and think this leader is sucks, but first I guarantee you he's not.
So I'm waiting. I'm expecting people to definitely say Kazuda should be S tier.
Yes, for sure.
And any other change? I would not be surprised if somebody tells us that we're dead wrong with Admiral Trench and that there's some combo or deck that we're missing that just makes him insane.
Yeah.
Just because I haven't seen him played enough to really know a lot about him. So yeah, if anyone out there has an interesting deck list for Trench, I'd be real curious to see it.
Yeah, I want to see too, because I never saw a list before, so. Does it you want to say anything else?
No, this was a lot of fun. Thank you for coordinating and waiting for my schedule to free up so that we can do this. I wish we'd have been able to do it a little bit earlier, but we did get to experience a couple more games and get a better idea of where these guys probably fit in.
Yeah.
I hope the community is still agrees with a lot of our choices, but a lot of this is just our opinion.
Yes.
And yeah, definitely check out more of Mog's gameplay. I see him online on Petronaki quite a bit, so you'll probably bump into him a couple of times. I know I already have.
Yeah. Yeah, we play like I think maybe on 3 or 4 matches randomly there maybe.
Yeah.
So thank you.
It's great. As soon as I see the card back, I'm like, oh, I know him.
Yeah. So thank you for participating here, and that's it, guys. Thank you for watching. I will put here in the description the channel, the link of the MOBYUS channel. You please go check it out. So this is it. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.
See ya.